Hello everyone, welcome to our Code Courage YouTube channel. In this video we are going to learn about core concepts of database management system and perform some SQL commands using XAMPP. Our Code Courage is a community by self-learners for self-learners. It was founded by Viram in 2019. We believe that knowledge should be affordable for all those who desire it. Thus we try to share free resources for your needs. To join us on our journey, you can follow us on social media platforms. Links are given in description below. Let me introduce myself. I am Sachin Nisar, a computer engineer and Python developer. I have worked on various projects using Django and Flask. I have worked with various firms as a freelancer as well as intern on contract basis. I am also one of the core members of Outcode. Let's start with the video. Today we are going to learn about database management systems. We are also going to understand what relational data are and how RDBMS works. We are going to understand what normalization is and what are various forms to normalization. We are going to learn what are foreign keys and primary keys and how we are going to use it. We are going to learn various SQL commands. We are also going to explore what SQL is and its statements such as DCL, DDL and DML. We are going to set up XAMPP and perform some SQL commands on it. In this section of our video, we are going to learn what database is and how it is managed. We are also going to learn various properties of DBMS and advantages and disadvantages of database management system. A database is a collection of interrelated data which is used to retrieve, insert and delete their data efficiently. These relations can be expressed through tables which uses rows and columns or by proximities that uses closeness of data based on its attributes. This data can be organized in a table, schema, views and reports. Database Management System or DBMS is a software that is used to manage the database. There are various properties of database management system, some of which are as follows. It follows ACID properties to maintain the healthy state in case of failure. It means that the database will not be corrupted even if something goes wrong. We will discuss ACID properties in depth later in this course. Second property of database management system is that it uses digital repositories established on a server to store and manage the information and supports auto backup and recovery procedures. This means that in any case, if database is not in healthy state, then the system should be able to recover most recent version of healthy database. It reduces the complex relationship between the data and also support manipulation and processing of data along with its security. The most important point is that it should provide a clear and logical view of data that is manipulated and should provide different views as per user's need. It means that a data should provide a filter so that user can see data as they need. Now that we have learned about database management system, let's discuss what are its advantages and disadvantages. First, we will start with advantages. A DBMS system controls data redundancy. That is, it removes duplicate and unnecessary data. It is easy to maintain and back up the data. Since data is stored on a server, we can share its access with others. It supports multiple user interfaces that gives users ability to do multiple tasks and see multiple data simultaneously. A database management system has its own limitations too. The cost of hardware and software increases as the capacity increases. On an individual level, it may be insignificant, but at enterprise level, it can cost thousands of dollars. The size and complexity of data is another issue for DBMS. For example, the size of primary key is limited to 900 bytes. If DBMS fails, everything starts to fall apart, which marks a negative impact on business. As the size of data increases in database, DBMS face severe performance issues. There are several data models in a database. In this video, we are going to talk about relational data model. The relational data model stores data in a row and a column form, where a row represents a tuple and the column represents attribute of data in the tuple, and together they form a table to represent relationship between the data. A relational database model uses SQL to store, manipulate, and maintain the data. Some tools are MySQL, MS SQL Server, and Oracle. This relation follows some properties. Name of the relation is distinct from all other relations. This means name of a table should be unique. Each attribute contains a distinct name. Attribute domain has no significance. This means name of column is unique and it maintains the integrity of database. Each cell can have only one value. As RDBMS removes redundancy, there are no duplicate values in a table. Thus the row can have different sequence. Let's understand the ACID properties of a database. ACID property is abbreviation of atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Atomicity states that the data operation will complete either with success or with failure. It follows the all or nothing strategy. Consistency says that if we perform any operation over the data, its value before and after the operation should be preserved. The isolation property says that when simultaneous transaction occurs, one transaction effect should not be visible to the other transaction in the database. The durability states that once the operation completes and commit, the data and data changes should remain permanent. Let's take an example. If I want to send money to you online, then it shows the transaction is successful when money is sent and received by you. If it shows transaction is unsuccessful but money is debited, then it violates the atomicity. After money is transferred to you and you actually receive the money, then it will be shown in your transaction history. If the money is received by you and transaction history is not being updated, then it violates consistency. When I was sending money while someone else was doing the transaction, then I should not be aware that someone else has sent you the money. Only my transaction should be available to me. Otherwise, it violates the isolation. After transactions are complete and everything is updated in the database, it cannot be altered. Otherwise, it violates the durability. Let's discuss about relational algebra in DBMS. There are various operations that can be performed on a database to filter out values based on the user's need. As you can see that there are 7 basic operations that are performed on a database. Let us discuss them one by one. As the name suggests, select operator is used to select attributes to perform various operations on it. It is denoted by sigma. Project is used to show the attributes as needed and eliminate the rest. It is denoted by a capital Pi. Union is used to show elements that are not common between relations. It basically eliminates duplicate tuples. It is denoted by union sign. Difference show the elements that are in one relation but not on the other. It is denoted by minus. Intersection shows all the duplicate values between relations. It is denoted by an intersection. Cartesian product, also known as cross product, is basically used to combine two tables and it is denoted by a cross. Rename is used to rename values in a relation. There are other operators that are used to filter the value and join the tables based on various conditions. These operations are called join operations. We will discuss them one by one. Theta join merges table based on conditions of theta. Theta is basically a placeholder for all comparison operators. Thus, it is a general case of a join. It is represented by a theta symbol. When theta is used as an equality operator, it is called equijoin. Normal join neither compares or concatenates the table. Instead, it combines the table if they have at least one common attribute or a column. Both normal join and theta join can be considered as inner join. Outer join or full outer join all the values of participating relations regardless of any condition. Left outer join shows all the value from left relation that are common values in the right relation. If R and S are two relation as shown, then all the values of R that are common in S will be displayed. Right outer join is opposite of left outer join. It shows the value from right relation that are common in left relation. If R and S are relations as shown, all the values of S that are common in R will be displayed. Now that we have completed with our relational algebra, Let's start with normalization. Normalization is the process of decomposing or reducing the relations into relations with fewer attributes using normal forms. It is used for data organization and it eliminates the anomalies. It basically divides larger tables and links them with relations. There are several advantages of using normalization, such as reducing data redundancy, higher consistency, improved design flexibility, and maintains integrity. It also has drawbacks too. As we move to higher form, performance degrades due to its complexity. It is a very time consuming process. It can lead to a bad design if decomposition is not handled carefully. Normal forms are used to remove anomalies and maintain consistency. Each normal form varies with respect to the order of relationship. Each normal form varies with respect to the order of relationship. Each successive normal form is an extension of its predecessor. Before I explain normal form, let me tell you about prime attribute and non-prime attribute. Prime attribute is a part of candidate key that is a set of one or more columns that can uniquely identify a row within a table. Non-prime attribute is basically attribute that is not prime key that contains value that uniquely identify each row in a table. There are various normal forms in normalization. Let's discuss 4 of them. In first normal form, each attribute is atomic domain, which means that it cannot be divided further, and values of attribute in a tuple is a single value. Second normal form follows first normal form, but here every non-prime attribute should be functionally dependent on prime attribute. Third normal form follows second normal form, but here non-prime attribute are non-transitive to prime key attribute. For any non-trivial functionality dependency, if X is non-prime attribute and A is a prime attribute, then X is a super key or A is a prime attribute. Boy's Codd normal form or BCNF is an extension of third normal form with stricter paradigm. Here non-prime attribute must be a super key. Now that we have covered normalization and its types, we shall move on to primary keys and foreign keys. To understand it, we first need to understand what a key is and what is its use. A key is basically a value that is assigned to a row so that a user can access it anytime. It can be an employee ID or a serial number. It helps in easy and quick access to data and create relationship between tables. There are many types of key, but primary key and foreign key are most important. A primary key is an attribute or a value that is used to uniquely identify tuples in database. When multiple values are used as primary key, it is called as a composite key. To make a primary key, we must understand how it is defined. A primary key contains only a unique value. It cannot be null. One table can have only one primary key, and length of a primary key cannot be more than 900 bytes. The best example of a primary key is your Aadhaar card number. It is unique. It cannot be undefined. All Indians can have only one Aadhaar card number legally, and it is under 900 bytes. We also have a virtual ID that is unique. If we use both Aadhaar number and virtual ID as primary key, then it's a composite key. Foreign key is a value that is linked to primary key with a relation that is used to link two tables. It is also called a reference key because it references to primary key in a table. A foreign key is used to reduce redundancy by making different tables that are related and linking them by a primary key. It means that it helps in normalization. Here a table with primary key is also called parent table and a table with foreign key is also called child table. Let us understand what SQL is and its statements. SQL is also called SQL or CLI language. It is only language that is used for operating relational databases. It stands for Structured Query Language because it is used on relational database that has structured data, which means that it uses only rows and columns to show relationships. Common example of SQL products are MySQL, MS SQL Server and Oracle. There are many online editors, but most of them doesn't support rollback features. The SQL is divided further into sub-languages or statements. Let's see what they are one by one. Data Definition Language or DDL is used to define, modify, and drop the table or its object from the database management system. It has 4 operations: create, alter, truncate, and drop. Create is used to create new database or a table. Alter changes or modifies the structure of a table or a database. Truncate delete rows from table but cannot alter structure of table. Drop removes the table from database. Data manipulation language or DML is used to modify the data in table using insert, update and delete. Insert is used to add a row in a table. Update is used to update existing data in the table. Delete is used to delete rows in a table using where clause. Main difference between delete and truncate is that delete is temporary and we can use rollback, while truncate is permanent, we cannot use rollback. Data control language or DCL is used for access control management in database using grant and revoke commands. Grant is used to give access to someone and revoke is used to remove access from someone. Transaction control language or TCL is used for version control of database with commit, rollback and save point commands. Commit updates the change of a table or database and pushes it in the server. It makes the current saved version as most recent version of database. Rollback is used to reverse changes of a database or a table to last save point or the last updated version. Save point creates a version that is used as a save point so that users can roll back to it when database becomes faulty. Apart from this statement, there is a data query language or DQL which is used to fetch data using select command. Now that we understand what SQL is, let us set up XAMPP and explore some SQL commands through it. Download link for XAMPP is given in the description below. Since I have already downloaded it, let us start with the installation. We first open the XAMPP installer.exe and allow the app to make changes. I am running my installation on Windows machine. You can use Mac OS as well as Linux. Now that setup has opened, we just keep pressing next and select a folder that is empty. It supports two languages, English and Dutch. You can select whatever you want. While XAMPP is installing, let me tell you some details about XAMPP. It was developed by Apache Friends in 2002. It is an open source tool that includes cross-platform support for Apache Server, MariaDB, PHP, and Perl. Thus the name XAMPP. It also has support for WordPress, MyPHPAdmin, Joomla, and many other tools. It also has a file transfer protocol to send files across the internet along with various security features. It can use MariaDB and MySQL database with many other databases. Now that we have installed XAMPP, let us explore some features of XAMPP. After installing XAMPP, we can open XAMPP control panel. It provides us various services. It provides us with Apache, MySQL, FileZilla, Mercury, and Tomcat. Apache is an HTTP server. MySQL provides SQL database server. FileZilla provides us with file transportation services. Mercury provides us email services, and Tomcat provides us a Java web framework server. To perform SQL commands using MyPHPAdmin, we need to start XAMPP Apache server and MySQL server. Then open your browser and visit localhost/myphpadmin. On left you can see all the databases that are stored in our server. On expanding, we can see all the tables that are stored in each database. On top panel, we can see all the features provided by myphpadmin. You can use database to create new databases or explore the existing databases. SQL is used to write and execute various MySQL queries. In status, you can watch over different servers, processes, and get statistics about them and monitor their performance as well. You can see all users and manage their privileges using user accounts. You can export any data into any form such as SQL, CSV, or JSON, as well as LaTeX and YML. You can import existing data from local device in any format like CSV, JSON to MySQL format. You can explore other features through documentation. For now, we have covered necessary features for our tutorial. In this section, we will perform CRUD operations, where I will show you how to create a table, read data in a table, update table, and delete rows in the table, followed by primary key, foreign key, along with join operations. SQL is a fourth generation programming language which means that it is similar to natural language that we use to communicate. They are non-procedural in nature. It means that user only need to specify what and how to do something, and computer produces the output for you. With this, we understand why SQL is so similar to English language. We will see some data types as we go on with the tutorial. Let's perform some commands with example. We will refer this image that shows us the relationship between regional agent, customers, and orders in a database. Here every yellow key symbol represents a primary key, red diamond represents a foreign key, and white diamond is remaining data of the table. To perform any SQL command in phpMyAdmin, we first need to select any database and then click on SQL panel. If you don't have any database, then you can simply click on New and create your database. Since I already have a test database, I will be using it. Let us first create a table. To create a table, we use create keyword, which is followed by a table's name and its attribute. We will first create agents table. As you can see that create keyword is followed by tables keyword because we want to create a table. It is followed by the table name, that is agents, and in brackets we are adding its attribute, that is agent's code, agent name, working area, commission, phone number and country, which are followed by their data types. In this table we are using three data types: character, float and varchar or variable character. Character is used for identifying characters. It is same as varchar, with only difference being that character has fixed length, but varchar has flexible length. Float is a number-based data type that takes single precision floating point number or decimal number. There is also a double, which has double precision decimal point. Let's execute this command by pressing Go. On left panel you can see that we have added our agents table. On expanding the table, we can see all the columns. Let us add some data using insert keyword. You can either add one data at a time or add multiple data at same time. As you can see that insert is followed by the agent's name, which is adding these values using values keyword. The sequence of these values are same as the sequence of attributes of the table. Let us execute this command. As you can see, our query was successfully executed. Let us check our data. You can see that all the data was inserted in our table. Let us try to delete some data from the table using delete keyword. You can see that it is asking for confirmation. Let's press OK. One row was affected. Let us see what happened to our table. As you can see that agent 007 was removed from our table. Here delete is followed by the table name and a condition using where clause. Where clause is used when we want to perform some operation based on certain condition. These conditions are handled by where clause. In this case, since we want to delete an agent that has agent code of A007, we are using agent code is equal to A007. If you have seen our previous sections about SQL statements, you must have seen there is a truncate statement as well, which works same as delete statement. You may also know the difference. But why do we need truncate when we have delete? It's because truncate is more efficient when deleting all rows from table. It's simply because delete statement will delete rows one by one when deleting all rows, whereas truncate will drop the table and then recreate it, making it more efficient and faster. Let us try to change the structure of our table. We can add or remove any attribute from the table. To add an attribute, we use add keyword along with the table name in alter statement. Let us add email attribute to our table. On left panel, you can see that we have added email attribute to our table. Let us perform select query to confirm it. You can see that email attribute was added in our table as well. Now that we have confirmed this, let us remove email attribute from it. To remove email attribute, we use same statement, but instead of add, we will use drop keyword. It asks for confirmation again. Let's press OK. On left panel, you can see that email's attribute was successfully removed. Let us confirm it with select query. With this, we have confirmed that email's attribute was removed from our table. Let us change some data from our table, and for that, we will use update keyword. This time, we will try to change phone number of an agent. Let's say agent A008. Let us see what is the phone number of agent A008. You can see that this is the phone number, and now we want to change it. Let us change the phone number of our agent A008 by using update keyword. Update is followed by the table name, which is followed by set keyword. Add our column name that we want to update. Let us add the condition where agent code is A008. Let us execute the command. As you can see that one row was affected. Let us see what happened to the phone number of agent A008. As you can see that the phone number of agent A008 was changed to this number. Now we have covered basics of our CRUD operations. Let's move on to primary keys and foreign keys. Let me show you this image again so that you understand how relations are related to each other. You may pause the video to check it again. Let us first drop the table using drop keyword and recreate it again. You can see that the agents table was removed from our left panel. Now we will create a customers table and link agents table to the customers table. In this statement, everything is same except the agent code attribute. Here we used references keyword that tells SQL engine that agent code column references to the primary key of agent table. With this, we have linked agents table and customers table. In this, data added in the agent code column should exist in agents table as well. If they don't exist in agent table, then it will cause some error. Now we will create orders table and link it to agents as well as customers table. In this table, you can see that there is date data type. It stores dates in the attribute. If you want to add date and time both, Then use timestamp data type. If you don't add any value in timestamp, then it takes your server's date time as default value. When we are creating tables, you must have seen not null multiple times. It is just a constraint. It says that the value in this column cannot be null value, which means that it cannot be empty. Similarly, we have unique constraint as well. Because sometimes we may need values that are unique but may not be primary keys. Like in college we have enrollment ID, which can be considered as primary key, and we also have a roll number, which must be unique in a class. Thus it can be set as a unique value even though it is not a primary key. Let's execute this to add the data in our table. Now that we have executed primary keys and foreign keys to link the tables, we will be performing join operations on agents, customers and orders. Joins has a very simple syntax. In this, we just select the columns that we want to display and join the tables using join keyword. Let us demonstrate some example of joins. We have covered more theory about joins in this video. In this example, we are joining agents table and customer table. In this, we are going to display agents code, agents name, customer code and customer name. You can see that the tables are joined, but we don't know that what kind of join is used. Since we are using only join keyword, in SQL, inner join is a default join. If no join type is mentioned, then common columns are joined by default. In our example, agent code is a common column between all the tables. Thus, if any table is joined without mentioning the join type, agent code would be used to join the tables. We can show inner join without explicitly mentioning the join type by adding a comma between them. Let's execute this to verify the result. You can see that the results are same as when we were using join keyword. Let us add some condition to it. We want to display agent's name and customer's name if their cities are same. To make more sense of this query, imagine if you are a customer staying in Mumbai and ordered something from a vendor who stays in Delhi. Even though the vendor is in Delhi, you will receive your order from an agent whose location is in Mumbai because you both live in the same area. You can see that agents and customer name is displayed if the cities are equal. This can be considered as an example of equijoin because we have used equal to sign to compare the tables. Equijoin is a special case of theta join where theta is a placeholder for any operator. Theta join is a comparison operator that compares value and joins the table. Let us take another example to show that. In this example, we will be joining orders table and customers table and name them A and B. We are going to display order number, order amount, customer name and working area, where order amount is between opening amount in customer. We will order this join using order by keyword along with customer name. You can see that the table was rearranged based on customer name ascending wise. We can reverse this by using descending keyword, which is DESC. When we do not mention any specific order, the default order is ascending, which can also be written as ASC. When performing inner join, we will see that output is same as using join. But there is a difference. But in backend, although they show the same results, there is a difference. We have completed our inner joins. Let us perform outer joins. We will start with right outer join. When performing outer join, we only have to use keyword right outer join and left outer join. In this example, we are joining order and customers table using right outer join. In this, we will take agent code to extract the values. Since the customers table is on right side of right outer join, its data is compared to the orders table which is at left. As you can see that the data of customer table is displayed before the data that is in orders table, because customer table is on right side of the relation and order is at left side of the relation. Let us see what happens when we replace right with left. You can see that this time the orders table was displayed before the customer table, because left outer join is completely opposite of right outer join, which means that data on left side of the relationship will be displayed before the data on left side of the relationship, because left is compared to the right side. As we can see, left outer join is completely opposite of right outer join. Thus, data on order table which is on left side of relation is compared to the customer table which is at right side. Thus, the data of order table is displayed before data of customer table. We also have a cross join, which basically joins both tables in the relation regardless of the condition, as rather than using comparison operator, it uses Cartesian products to find the relationship between tables and join them. It is also called as normal join. A normal join can be inner join, left outer join or right outer join. Its default value is inner join. Hey, congratulations! You have completed this tutorial and gained basic expertise about database. We learned what databases are, why should we use them. We also learned about relational database, its ACID properties and various operations in database using DBMS. We gained knowledge about different SQL commands and performed them using XAMPP. This is just the beginning of database management system. There are various types of DBMS such as cloud database, distributed database, etc. and each has their own use cases, advantages and limitations. You may also explore different projects using these databases for various purposes such as business analytics, storage, sales, machine learning and data science. We wish you best of luck. You can follow us on social media or visit our website avcodekare.greatsite.net. This is avcodekare and I am Sasid Nisar signing off.